I'm going to break the one cardinal rule that I set for myself when making this channel, and will now discuss YouTube drama. Oh no! Okay, but first, a quick recap.
Wake up in the morning looking greener than Shrek.
Where is that donkey?
The Key of Awesome was a series launched by the formerly named Barely Digital / Barely Political / Barely Productions channel, which ran from roughly 2009 to 2017. They did a whole bunch of music comedy sketches aimed more towards kids and teens, maybe young adults, and are most known nowadays for their direct parodies of the big pop music at the time. You know, your Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, etc., etc. It was a little mean-spirited in ways that you couldn't get away with today, but comparing it to the other pop song parodies that got big around that time, it wasn't nearly as bad. And the Key of Awesome was big. At its peak, videos in this series would regularly rack up millions, if not tens of millions of views. They got 5 million subscribers, and that was back in the early years before Shorts, when those numbers were unfathomable. That Key of Awesome series, and later on the channel, was managed by a man named Mark Douglas, a guy who was hired by the channel pretty early on, like in the first year or so, and had honed his skills as a comedian, an actor, and musician for years. The guy is like actually legit, and really talented and funny, and internet savvy enough to be able to lead the Key of Awesome throughout its Imperial era. But in 2017, between declining views and Mark stretching himself thin running a YouTube channel at the level of a production company, the Key of Awesome gracefully bowed out, publishing what would be, for a long time, their final video on the channel. On a personal note, I grew up with the Key of Awesome, watched nearly all of their videos. Mark Douglas was like the first parasocial connection I made to any creator. He was like my fun uncle. My funkle. But more pertinently, last year when I was just starting my YouTube channel, I published a video analyzing pop song parodies on YouTube in general, focusing my discussion around the Key of Awesome and my video about pop song parodies blew my channel up. It raised my subscriber count from 40 to 3,000 in 2 weeks. My video now sits at 146,000 views, which for a small baby channel like mine, that's pretty cool. One last thing, I do want to highlight one segment of that video just to prove to you all how invested I am in all this. Ultimately, when the writing was on the wall, it was time to end things. The Key of Awesome bowed out in February 5, 2018 with a surprisingly tasteful send-off video which honestly made me kind of emotional. Okay, I can't front anymore. I've been a fan of this channel since the beginning, and this last video actually made me really sad. Since this farewell video, it's been 6 years, and the only real thing we've heard from Mark since then is a single podcast episode. Where you been, Mark? Buddy? We miss you. Okay, back to the story. There is one particular video from the Key of Awesome I want to highlight. On August 22, 2014, the Key of Awesome released Reggae Shark TM. Animated by Kieran O'Hare, the video was a very simple 2-minute comedy musical skit about a chill, pot-smoking shark who fought crime one time.
Also wants ganja. What you get? Like the spliff when you live underwater. Reggae Shark is real.
It's cute, it's crass. It actually gives me like major Newgrounds vibes, but like way toned down for like an iPad kid audience. This was a massive success for the Key of Awesome for one reason. Look, their bread and butter was basically mocking or making fun of pop stars and pop music. If you're the comedian masterminding these videos, it may make you wonder if people actually like your comedy, or if they just like that you're picking on an easy target. The comedy is reactive, derivative even. But Reggae Shark was the brainchild of Mark Douglas. It was completely original. That thing was his baby, so the video would live and die on his skills. And it worked out! Reggae Shark was a massive hit. In terms of views, it outperformed nearly every pop song parody the Key of Awesome released that year. There was Reggae Shark fan art. According to Mark, there was Reggae Shark graffiti in foreign countries. Even to this day, long after the Key of Awesome ended, you could still stumble upon Reggae Shark being freebooted onto Reddit, or its audio being used in a TikTok or whatever, and its reception is always positive. And I just get the sense that Mark himself is super proud of it.
When I felt like I was really drafting off of other people's success to make my thing, I didn't like that feeling, you know? Like, I wanted to do things that were just sort of more original. We did a thing called Reggae Shark, which is an animated thing, and I was really proud of that just because it was like an original idea and it was hitting kind of the same numbers as some of the parodies. So I wasn't drafting off of anybody else's successful thing, you know?
And he milked that shark sucker for all it was worth. He made several sequels, covers, and spin-off videos, each of which still would get millions of views. Mark even made a YouTube Red, now YouTube Premium, exclusive series that was basically the Reggae Shark Show, meaning people actually paid to watch this series. So it made sense that upon returning to the platform after their 7-year absence, which is like 30 years in YouTube time, titans, empires have risen and fallen in that span of time, it made sense that the Key of Awesome would come back with a new Reggae Shark, because pop music parodies don't exist anymore on YouTube nowadays. Pop music barely exists nowadays. So like, wow, oh my god, new Key of Awesome! Reggae Shark Saves Christmas. Uploaded on December 18, 2025. They didn't get too many views at first. The YouTube algorithm will do that after several years, but for those who did see the video, hype was through the roof. All those early top comments are entirely celebratory, just happy to have new Key of Awesome in the year of our Lord 2025. Just happy to know that Mark Douglas was alive and thriving, moisturized and staying in his lane. Anyway, I knew I had to watch this. And, so the story is fairly simple and standard for Reggae Shark. He saves Christmas by rescuing Santa, getting him into rehab, and then ensures that all the gifts get delivered on time to all the boys and girls. But there was something off. Okay, so the original animation of Reggae Shark by Kieran O'Hare, along with the animation in all the sequel videos, it was simplistic but very charming, very pleasant to look at. Again, kind of that old school Newgrounds feel, right? Kinda amateurish, but still comprehensible and definitely still requiring a lot of work. But in this new 2025 video though, the animation was, rough. I'm sorry, but parts of it look janky as hell. Some segments look like they were done on Go Animate, and the lip movements were...
Without Reggae Shark, you people would not have a Christmas.
And just look at these texts, what is this even supposed to say? Yeah, this was very likely... you know what. Here's the thing, I so do not want to become the AI police. I hear stories about artists getting harassed on social media if they're even suspected of using AI, and I do not want to lead the righteous mob. I do not want to make any baseless speculation, but I don't need to speculate too much. If you take a look at the description of the new Reggae Shark video and see who was credited with the animation, it was a channel with like 7 subscribers who, quote, produces commissioned work and original projects using the latest AI tech. They post videos like this. Yeah, this new video from the Key of Awesome, it's AI. And so I made this video mainly to untangle my own feelings about all this, and not to incite harassment in the form of extremely cruel and vicious comments, or worse, toward Mark Douglas or the Key of Awesome. And if you do so on my behalf, or because you think it'll do any kind of good in the world, it won't. And I will personally see to it that there is no space for you in the kingdom of light. Look, just don't harass people, okay, guys? If you want to know my full thoughts on AI, I released a 2-hour behemoth of a video discussing a very specific angle about the whole AI art discourse. The video kind of flopped by my standards, so if you haven't yet, please watch that video, because girl, I am at a low point right now and I could really use a win. But basically, that video is kind of a rebuttal toward the AI art crowd who are always like, well, people hated digital art back then, just like they hate AI art now. I painstakingly go through the development and discourse around digital art to show why I do not think it was treated the same as typing prompts into Midjourney. Again, if that seems interesting, I'd really be happy if you got to watch that video. I'm still proud of it, and still stand by basically every point I made, but in hindsight, I realize that it is a very online approach, in that the video is primarily for people who have strong opinions about whether AI constitutes as art, and just people immersed in that discourse. But for regular people who don't do digital art and maybe, go outside and touch grass, they likely view AI and the ability to make art using AI as something that can help them. People who use ChatGPT to make emails, write their essays, or financial statements at work. People who run pictures of their kids through AI prompts and filters because it's cute. And small business owners who need logos or posters to advertise. And, well, it's complicated. Look, it's very easy to mock and ridicule organizations like Google,
Luckily, AI mode in Google search can help him hatch a plan.
or Coca-Cola, or even Toys R Us for heavily relying on generative AI for their shitty-ass commercials. These are billion-dollar companies who absolutely could afford to hire artists to make stunning commercials, and could even utilize machine learning and technological advancements to help them make that vision come to life. That's just like what Sony's Spider-Verse trilogy has reportedly been doing, which still uses a bunch of human animators to do the work, only using machine learning programs to fully realize their vision, minimizing some of the grunt work like adjusting ink lines from frame to frame. So for Coca-Cola and Google, for these large businesses to make something so fully dependent on AI, likely so that they will be able to get rid of artists who have the skill and the creativity and the passion. Yeah, all of that just reeks of cost-cutting, corporate greed, and this tech bro-y urge to be at the cutting edge, to be ahead of the curving right down to the bottom of a cliff. I hate it. I just hate it. But what if it wasn't a billion-dollar company? What if it was a mom-and-pop toy shop? Or like a small food truck? Or a local lawn care business? What if they couldn't afford a real artist? What if, without AI, they would just have to go about without the use of a logo or posters to advertise their business? Look, I'm not saying that any of that is good or okay or even acceptable. Insert "there's no ethical consumption under capitalism" here. Plus, we've seen unscrupulous individuals use AI art to publicize their awful, low-quality, shoddy events and products. But what I am saying is that in certain instances, with regards to small businesses, I at least understand why someone would do this. More out of a potentially misplaced sense of necessity rather than outright greed. Okay, I swear I have a point here. Now, it seems strange, at first, to equate a channel with 5 million subscribers to a small business, but understanding the history of the Key of Awesome might add a little bit of context. The Key of Awesome was previously owned by YouTube of all things, which allowed for more funding to parody these extremely elaborate music videos. This entailed the use of massive costumes, sets, lights, professional cameras, performers and crew, professional music production, all for like a 3 to 4 minute skit. Anyway, YouTube let go of the Key of Awesome at some point, leaving Mark Douglas to essentially become an independent creator, getting his funding through Patreon. Patreon! Like, do you all realize how little money YouTubers earn through ads on this website? Unless you're like regularly hitting millions of views on long-form videos a week? Which, to be completely honest, the Key of Awesome wasn't quite doing those numbers anymore. Why do you think your favorite small to medium creator just sitting down, talking in their bedroom has a Patreon account where they could offer bonus materials such as 6 hours of edited bonus video content of said creator rapping about stuff related to internet culture, all for only $2 a month? First name shame, middle name less. Pew pew pew. But anyway, point is, Patreon and crowdfunding was likely not enough to fund these extremely elaborate music videos while maintaining the high production quality that Key of Awesome was known for. Not to mention that, according to Mark, some of these multi-million viewed videos were demonetized because of YouTube's broken copyright system, so they weren't getting as much money as they could have. All of these things added up. Anyway, this may have contributed to their decision to take a hiatus from the channel in 2018. So when the Key of Awesome was rebooted in 2025, Mark was likely not sitting on a pile of money that he could just spend on whatever. He couldn't come back with like a large, high production quality music video like he did in the past. Those cost way too much. Or even like actual human-made animation, which in some ways, while simpler, still requires hours and hours and hours of toil and hard work just for a few seconds of footage. So with all that, is it possible that AI enabled this channel to come back in some capacity, when previously they may not have had the means to do so otherwise? Well, I don't know Mark's financial situation, if he's destitute right now or if he won the lottery. I don't know his motivation for rebooting the channel either. I don't know the guy, he's not my friend. But the financial stuff, it's just a consideration. And here's another consideration though. Mark is an old man. That's not like a mean insult or anything. He has affectionately made fun of his own age many times.
Compared to most YouTubers, I'm an old geezer.
He is so old that he actually made a TikTok account for the Key of Awesome only a few days ago. I am shocked he did not consider this earlier. The channel trailed the blaze for song parodies on the internet, of which there are plenty of on TikTok. And their old stuff is just massive nostalgia bait that would have killed with Zoomers on that platform. How did it take them this long? Anyway, Mark Douglas being an older gentleman means that, generally, he is very offline. Since the channel ended 7 years ago, he's had no significant public-facing online presence. What this could mean is that maybe Mark may have been isolated from the AI art discourse and the overall negative impact that it's had on artists and creatives. Based on his few public posts we can see, and just overall some of the content he's produced for the Key of Awesome, he's always had fairly liberal ideals. Just seems like a nice stand-up guy who doesn't want to punch down, but again, I don't know him. But being away from the internet for so long, he may not have been aware of the ethical concerns that cast a looming specter over the usage of generative AI in arts and entertainment, as well as its perception among the more creatively minded people in its audience. Again, watch my last video for more of a deep dive on that. And if I were to speculate, that might have been why Mark thought it would have been okay to use AI to resurrect this dead channel. It may not have been out of greed or a shortcut to produce as much content for the algorithm to flood the internet with as much no-effort slop as possible. The AI could have been used as a necessity to actually get the product out there in the first place. But I also can't say that that makes it okay. In this day and age, knowing that a piece of content significantly used AI in such an integral part of the process, it kind of makes you side-eye the whole piece of work as a whole a little bit. It makes you wonder that if they were willing to take shortcuts for the animation side of things, what other parts of the process could they have taken shortcuts in? Was the writing done by ChatGPT? Am I listening to a really convincing voice clone courtesy of 11 Labs? I watched the video and it doesn't really seem like it, but like, I don't know. And look, I don't want to have to go through the rest of my life interrogating whether every piece of content I see is AI or whatever, but when the animation is this janky and weird looking, And so, this is the predicament that the Key of Awesome may find themselves in. Again, while looking at the comments, while most of it is super happy and just glad to have Key of Awesome back, there have been a handful of comments calling out to the AI usage. It isn't that many comments though, mainly because at the time of me writing this, the video doesn't have that many views. And thankfully, the YouTube drama channels, those vultures, haven't gotten to it yet. Although me making this video probably doesn't help matters. Oh no! And even if shit really hit the fan, the Key of Awesome is far from the only channel to receive some kind of flack for using AI in their content. There are 3 channels, or 3 creators that I want to go over, which also represent the possible paths that could happen with the Key of Awesome. 1. The Quibble Slop drama. Listen, he was way after my time, but apparently Quibble Cop was a successful YouTuber who got big based on his videos about GTA 5 and Minecraft and reaction videos. Ugh. As if reaction videos weren't low effort and low value enough, some years ago he made a sudden hard pivot into AI non-tent, with an AI avatar of himself commenting over gameplay footage, but it wasn't just the avatar that was AI. It was the words, the voice, all of it procedurally generated by some bizarro algorithm trained on his data. When he was very publicly called out for it, Quebblecop doubled down, making a more photorealistic, lifelike AI avatar of himself doing all the commentating.
Squished flat. Oh, chocolates, bye-bye bars. What's next? Rope pancakes. The hydraulic press squashes a rope. Look, it's shrinking. Squish!
He tried this for a time, only to be met with declining views and relevance, at which point he just quietly retired the whole stunt, I think. But to this day, he still insists that this AI thing was his passion all along, still makes cringe AI posts on social media, still makes weird AI shorts to this day, despite nobody liking them.
But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? AI videos!
Yeah, it's weird. This is the worst case scenario. Mark, you do not want to taint your legacy like this. 2. The JCS debacle. YouTuber Izzy Is already made a great video about this moment, and I'd encourage you to go watch it. So I'll just keep this brief. JCS is a true crime analysis channel that basically shaped the entirety of YouTube culture in the 2020s, with its emphasis on publicly available police footage and sharp analysis of interrogation tactics used by law enforcement. They're also known for their long gaps between uploads, and in one particularly long instance of no new videos, they finally uploaded a video that people found odd. It started with animation that was extremely uncharacteristic for the channel, and a lot of people also suspected was AI. And the trademark monotone voice delivery from creator Kazum sounded even way more stilted and robotic than usual, which, again, people suspected was AI. And then this happened somewhere in the video.
The other narrator will now be taking you through the second phase of his interrogation.
Better?
Putting everything else aside, just imagine being Josh right now.
Yeah, literally at the end of the video, the narration switches from Kazum's voice in AI to just like a random robotic woman AI voice.
And the writing of that video too was just also a mess. It was all over the place. It was a bad video. One of JCS's greatest assets and liabilities was that the person or persons managing the channel were anonymous, except for the voice actor Kazum. But this bad video kicked off a rampant speculation from fans that the channel may have been sold off. Couple that with the long upload gaps, and well, at the very least, JCS did implicitly acknowledge this debacle in a YouTube comment, promising more consistency and quality in the future. And people were generally positive and receptive. And the views never really dried up for the channel, making them a triumph of acknowledging their AI faux pas and simply moving on. But in the discussions among the die-hard fans, to this day, I still see some skepticism about whether their newer projects used AI or AI voice at all. And, accusations that they've fallen off, but, you get that with every channel. It's incredible that this one bad video made so many viewers a lot more vigilant about the use of AI. And it doesn't help that the JCS team is completely anonymous. We never see them as they create the video. The last creator I want to highlight is Kevin MacLeod. My hero, my king, my savior. If you are way too much into YouTube culture like I am, no matter what niche you primarily watch, you know who Kevin MacLeod is. And if you don't, you 100% have heard his music before. He was a developer and music composer who took the snippets of songs that he produced for other people that didn't end up getting used for whatever reason, and he went ahead and published them on his website, Incompetech, licensing them under Creative Commons, essentially making these songs free for anybody to use in their gameplay, vlogs, fail compilations, whatever. He unintentionally kind of created the soundtrack of YouTube, all without earning a cent from the billions of cumulative views that videos with his music have accumulated over the years. A song of his was even used at the Golden Globe ceremony.
Truly amazing.
Incredible.
How much a laugh can...
And many people don't know this, but he also has a YouTube channel where he publishes his music, where he shows his music being played on the music editor, and it's so cute. He even makes his little cursor dance. We must protect this man at all costs. Anyway, around 2023, he started using AI-generated thumbnails for his videos. Oh. And around 2024, he started posting music that was created in Sumo 3.5, an AI program. Oh no! King, what are you doing? They're going to eat you alive! I'll protect you, legend! Yeah, Kevin posted a number of these AI-generated music onto his YouTube, but clarified in a statement on his website that he never actually intended to publish them on his website alongside all the other human-made music that was free to use. He never made any money off these tracks, and he was always very upfront about how these songs were made, never intending to deceive anybody. To me, this is a lot more justifiable than the other examples, because, well, he's not exactly intending to print out money by filling the internet with slop, ahem. Still though, as he uploaded these videos, it did leave a bad taste in some people's mouths, with people just hating how they were made, and I can't really blame them. But a few days ago, at the time of me writing this, Kevin MacLeod uploaded to his YouTube channel after 8 months. Most of his last uploads at that point had been AI-made music, but these new uploads show the MIDI file, showing that he did indeed make these himself using his trusty music editor. He even brought the dancing cursor back. And while this video doesn't have that many views, again, YouTube algorithm, the comments have been completely receptive and just happy to see him back composing music on his own. Listen, I remember people being really angry about this at the time, the AI thing. This did do its rounds in the oh-so-ephemeral YouTube drama circuit. And also, I don't know what the future holds for Kevin and his legacy. Millions of videos, though, still use his songs, and billions of people will still continue to hear his songs. 500 years from now, long after the AI apocalypse, the last vestige of humanity will be a dying speaker playing a YouTube video with a Kevin MacLeod song. I suspect that Kevin's AI use will simply be a footnote in an otherwise extremely storied and illustrious career, given his massive contributions to internet and pop culture. Maybe. I certainly hope so. And this is how I hope people will see the Key of Awesome moving forward. Look, a channel I like uploaded a 3-minute cringe AI video. It's not the end of the world, it's hardly even consequential in the grand scheme of things, and I feel a little silly for even making a 20-minute video about this whole thing. And Mark and/or the Key of Awesome has never acknowledged the AI use. Although if they do, or if there's just any updates that happen in the situation, I'll be sure to insert it into editing, or will more likely leave a pinned comment. But I will say this, I honestly do think it's an overall net good thing that the Key of Awesome is back. In these awful, deeply fraught times we're in, when everything just feels worse now, I'm glad that we have this jolt of nostalgia to make us happy and reminding us of better times. I am sincerely glad that this channel that I love is back in some form, any form. Although, Mark, buddy, Uncle Mark, if you are committed to coming back to YouTube for whatever reason, do understand that the reason that these kinds of YouTube comebacks are so celebrated is because of the people, the talented and funny individuals like yourself that helped shape our collective memories, not simply the name brand or properties or videos. It reminds us of a time before YouTube got so depressing and corporate, losing its connection with the creators who made the platform feel so fresh and dynamic, with YouTube now being inundated with inhuman, robot-made, algorithmic AI slop. Not that you ask, but my recommendation, go back and interview those old performers or crew members that some people remember. A kind of where are they now mini reunion special, you know? Show us the process of how you actually write these things, shed insight into how you did the comedy, reflect on the highs and lows of your 8 years of internet dominance. I think that's ultimately something that a lot of people will want to see. Yeah, you could maybe even throw together a quick comedy song with your phone or using Pro Tools or something, but maybe lay off the AI for now. At least until AI animation gets so good that Hollywood studios stop hiring people completely and we gradually reach the robot apocalypse, or until the bubble bursts. Whatever comes first. And also, utilize your TikTok. That's a no-brainer. Upload some of your old clips on there, and the Zoomers who grew up with your channel will eat them up. So in conclusion, Bart Baker? Boy, do I have a content strategy for you. I know the crypto thing or whatever you did last time didn't work out super well maybe, but I got a surefire plan for you to get back to making videos with as little effort as possible. Number 1, AI